Hello everyone, I'm Abhishek and I'm excited to present my game Apocalypse: A God's Reckoning. It's an epic adventure role-playing puzzle game that transports the players to the realms of gods and mortals. Before we dive in, let's take a quick look at what I'll be presenting today. So I'll quickly go over the game information like the narrative structure and the plot point, a couple of mood boards, and the prototype feedback and learnings, and some early concepts for the puzzles and the level design sketch. Okay, now let's get started. Imagine if you could do this. Or even this. You have the power to control the natural forces of gravity or manipulate time or even travel between the mortal and divine realms. That's the essence of Apocalypse: A God's Reckoning. It's an epic adventure role-playing puzzle game where the players unleash the wrath of the fallen god Apocalypse. If you have the powers of a god, what will you be? Will you be the savior, the destroyer, or something in between? Now let's explore the game's core loop further in detail. In Apocalypse: A God's Reckoning, the core loop consists of the four main verbs, which are explore, control, solve, and fight. You are exploring through the different realms like the mortal and the divine realms, and you have the power to control gravity and time to either solve puzzles or to use them in combat to defeat your foes. Now let's take a look at the story structure for this game. At its core, the game is a classic revenge story. The game's narrative utilizes the three-act structure of storytelling. The story starts with our protagonist finding a relic of the Greek god Apocalypse during an archaeological expedition. The protagonist then learns about the fallen god and the ancient story of betrayal and learns to control his powers. The narrative then takes the protagonist to multiple divine realms where they are faced with unique puzzles, landscapes, and even enemies. Then they power up and have a chance to defeat Zeus and seek out the vengeance, but are faced with a moral dilemma which forces the protagonist to question the righteousness of their quest and whether the cycle of vengeance can truly bring resolution to this conflict. In the final act, it all leads up to an epic battle where the fate of both the mortal and divine realms are at risk. The game will have different endings based on the player's actions and choices and the protagonist's character development. Player may choose to seek vengeance or create a new era between gods and the mortals where they can coexist in peace, or find a middle ground that restores balance to the realms. To visually capture the game's aesthetics, here are some mood boards showcasing the environment and character design inspired by the Greek gods. As you can see, the visual aims for a realistic yet mythical atmosphere, very similar to the visual aesthetics of God of War or Game of Thrones. The environment consists of ruins of ancient temple, the mythic and divine realms, and the travel between various realms using either the Bifrost or like a realm room similar to the God of War. The character design is also very much inspired by God of War, and I want the characters to be very realistic yet mysterious, which adds to the overall gameplay experience of this game. Now let's take a look at the prototype feedback which I received. The prototype provided some key insights while testing the core mechanics of this game. All the players seem to enjoy the fundamental concepts of slowing down time and the gravity manipulation, and grabbing and throwing objects to solve puzzles and attacking enemies. People really enjoyed the concept of the ragdoll physics while attacking the enemies. Although it was very evident that the mechanics can get quite overwhelming for a new user, especially if it's not well teased before. So in the game, I have to make sure that each mechanic is taught progressively and tested and challenged gradually to the players so they can master the skills as the game progresses. It was also clear that people love the ragdoll physics while defeating the enemies, but the game should primarily focus on puzzles and have combat as a secondary element. Here are some of the rudimentary concepts of how the puzzle can be implemented into this game. These are very basic ideas but can be developed further into more interesting ones, utilizing the gameplay mechanics to solve them efficiently. The puzzle types include the trigger actions, which can be based on the object's shape, size, or color. The grabbing and throwing objects can not only use on solving mechanics but can also be implemented in wayfinding and navigation across the realms. The concepts of slowing down time provides the opportunity to have some very precise puzzles in the game, where the players are required to slow down time to activate triggers at specific timings. Some of the future mechanics include reversing time, which introduces an interesting mechanic where the player has the opportunity to learn through failure and fast forward time to speed up certain processes. Here's a level design sketch for the first level, where the protagonist is on an archaeological excavation and finds the relic of Apocalypse in the ruins of the temple. The player gets to learn about the forgotten god through the inscriptions on the wall and has flashbacks of the god from the divine realm. This level also provides the opportunity to test the player's powers before proceeding further with the game narrative. With that said, I've attached a game design document, the mood boards, the prototype gameplay video, and other files in the folder for your reference. I hope you're as excited as I am about this game and are willing to join me in this journey. Thank you.